Kathy Hochul and New York state lawmakers tackled the housing crisis. They will try again this year. The state legislature kick off its 2024 session Wednesday at the Capitol in Albany. A 6-month period during which lawmakers will pass a critical state budget and hundreds of bills that Democrat Hochul decide whether to approve or veto. But after Hochul and Democrat-dominated legislature failed to reach an agreement on housing policy last year, much of focus in 2024 will be on growing crisis and whether sides can finally reach consensus at a time when rents are rising. Rates are rising after the pandemic lows, and the state's housing stock can't keep up with demand. While everyone calling 2023 of housing, I believe every year is the of housing because there's so much need across state for more housing. Whether it be affordable, market rate, supportive housing, Councilwoman Linda Rosenthal said, a Manhattan Democrat who chairs the Housing Committee. We really need to finally address the issues head on. The governor says he will change his approach in 2024. That's because all 213 state lawmakers go to the polls in November. That could limit their appetite for tough votes that could hurt their re-election chances. I am not going to go down the same path we went last with exactly the same plan and in a year that's an election where members have different focuses and priorities, Hochul told reporters in late November. Last year, Hochul began by outlining a broad housing agenda that he claimed would create 800,000 new homes statewide over the next decade. But the governor's plan went nowhere. State lawmakers from both parties objected centerpiece of that law, a mandate that would force every town, city, village and state increase their housing stock by up 3 over next 3 years and give state authority step in approve projects if local governments miss the mark. Hochul, meanwhile, has objected to some of the legislature's housing priorities, a measure restricting landlords' ability to raise rent and evict tenants without good faith reason, and a state-funded voucher program for the homeless or those at risk of eviction. State lawmakers and New York City officials are already floating a possible compromise. With the exception of Hochul, Democratic lawmakers brokered the compromise almost on their own in June. The compromise agreement would allow the legislature to approve so-called good cause eviction protections, at least in New York City. In exchange, lawmakers would agree to renew a version of the expired tax credit for developers known as 421A. The measure, approved every few years, gave homebuilders a significant tax advantage if they included a certain percentage of affordable units in their projects. The strong real estate industry says the tax break is needed to increase the city's stock of below market rate housing. Both the right cause and 421A measures have long divided developers, landlords, tenant advocates, and elected officia.